Comrade Mr. Eric Stalin Mtshali, an anti-apartheid activist and a former MP who passed away on the Friday the 12th, 2018. We remembered Mr. Mtshali was awarded in 2015 the Order of Mendi for bravery in silver and by former President Jacob Zuma for his gallant fight against apartheid and immense contribution towards the liberation of the people of South Africa. We also note the passing away of Honorable Mr. Mandla Makapula, MEC for Education in the Eastern Cape Province, who passed away on Monday, the 8th October 2018. Also inform about Mr. Makosini Bonga Msomi, which is the twin brother of Mr. Thabo Msomi of our research unit. And Mr. Msomi passed away on Monday, the 8th October, and was laid to rest on Sunday, the 13th October 2018. Also, we need to remember the crash that claimed the life of 7 people on R74 near Bergville on the night of Saturday, the 13th. May we rise in a moment of silence in their remembrance. May their souls rest in peace. Ooh. And he's also. Thank you for reminding even many more. We then proceed with announcement in terms of apologies. Apology from Dr. B.M. Khatebe, Deputy Speaker, because of family commitment. And also the following honorable members and MECs have also tendered their apologies. Honorable Mr. T.W. Mchunu, Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, they've got prior arranged government engagement. Honorable S. Zigalala, MEC for Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs, is out of the country on business meeting. Honorable Ms. N.N. Boyce, Chief Whip in Cape Town. Honorable S.G. Tabashe, Chairperson of Committees. Honorable H.M. Blose, Deputy Chairperson of Committee. Honorable N. Dube Ngube, MEC Corporate Governance and Traditional Affairs. Honorable D.S. Lomo, MEC for Health. Honorable R.R. Pile, MEC for Public Works and Human Settlement. Honorable T.M. Kaunda, MEC Transport and Community Safety and Liaison. Honorable B.M. Stolem Loy, MEC for Arts and Culture, Sports and Recreation. Honorable R.T. Mtembu, MEC Agriculture and Rural Development. Honorable M.E. Dlungwani, MEC for Education. We also have Honorable V.V. Tambo, and also Honorable P.H. Kuzwayo and Honorable L.J. de Klerk. Those are the apologies from members that are not well. Honorable N.N. Spidla Sapeta, Honorable H.S. Dlamini, Honorable Z.C. Ntuli, and Honorable S.W. Mchunu. We then have an invitation to members of the legislature as a reminder to the TLTP that will be held on Thursday, 25th to 26th October in Wembezi Sports Field in Nkosilanga Libalele local municipality at Utukela district. And the following were being tabled in the legislature. The IYM report of KwaZulu-Natal Legislature budget report. For Department of Corporate Governance and Traditional Affairs, performance report in terms of Section 47 of the Municipal System Act number 32 of 2000 for the 2016-2017 financial year, and Msunduzi Annual Report 2016-2017. The Department of Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Moses Kotane Institute Annual Performance Plan 2018-2019, Department of Trade Report 2017-2018. And that concludes the report. Are there any announcements from the Office of the Premier?
Honorable Speaker, there are no announcements from the Office of the Speaker, of the Premier.
Thank you very much. I'm sure members are aware that because of the special, we don't have motions, we go straight to the where's the timer here? Where's the timer set here? Because this one is not working, it should be coming from here. Do it here. It's not happening now. This one is happening.
It's not working. I can set it there from my desk.
5 minutes. We will then going to start with the debate and the voting on the final mandate on the National Health Laboratory Service Amendment Bill, B15D 2017. And to start the debate, we'll then request the chairperson of the Health Portfolio Committee, Honorable Y.S. Bamji, order to report for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, in terms of Section 42(4) of the Constitution, the National Council of Provinces represents provinces to ensure that the provincial interests are taken into account in the national sphere of government by participating in national legislative process. The National Health Laboratory Service Amendment Bill 15B of 2017, which is a Section 76 bill in terms of the Constitution, was referred to the Health Portfolio Committee in terms of Rule 24-241, subsection 1. In turn, the legislature was, in terms of Section 118 of the Constitution, compelled to facilitate the public involvement in the legislative process of the legislature and its committee. Method of work. The committee had a briefing from the Department of Health on the 3rd of August 2018, notwithstanding the limited time for public consultation process. 3 public hearings were held on 11th, 12th, and the 14th of September 2018 at the eThekwini Metro, Mhlatuza Municipality, and Ugu District, respectively. Questions of clarity were addressed during the public hearing, which mainly related to the Principal Act. The bill was generally supported. However, there was only one oral submission that was received at the Ugu public hearing that was of substance. Written submissions were called for until 28th of September 2018. However, none were received. The submission that was received related to the removal of the provincial representatives in Clause 5 of the bill. This was raised as a concern, as it was important that the provincial concerns be elevated to the board where necessary. It was therefore suggested that the province be made provincial representation on the board, and that to keep members at the manageable level, province may be clustered according to their demographics. This suggestion was included as a proposed amendment in the negotiating mandate of the province. I am now happy to report that the proposal from KwaZulu-Natal was accepted and that the bill has been amended to include provincial representation, with provinces being clustered according to their demographics. The Health Portfolio Committee met again this morning on the 18th of October 2018 to consider responses by the Select Committee. It noted its proposed amendment was affected in the final version of the bill. The committee accordingly supported the bill as amended. Finally, in conclusion, Honourable Speaker, the committee recommends that the legislature must confer authority on 1, the KwaZulu-Natal provincial delegation to the National Council for Provinces to cast the vote in support of the bill, and 2, the head of the provincial delegation to National Council of Province or a delegate designed by the head of the delegation to cast a vote in favor of the bill. Honourable Speaker, thank you. This concludes the report of the Health Portfolio Committee's first mandate on the National Health Laboratory Services Amendment Bill. It's our final mandate. Thank you. On Amendment Bill B15D 2017. Thank you.
We now call upon Honorable S.M. Stonjika on behalf of the ANC for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and good morning to the honorable members. The National Health Laboratory Services Amendment Bill. The bill, as the chairperson has indicated, Clause 2 of the bill makes provision of the Provincial Procurement Policy Framework applicable to the service. Previously, there was a lack of clarity in the SCM processes that had potential for fraud and maladministration. So the bill seeks to clarify the processes and also add the professional procurement policy framework. And Clause 5 of the bill amends the composition of the board and regulates who may be appointed and how appointments are made. Previously, there was a lack of leadership, management, governance in the service. The bill is attempting to resolve this by providing for membership on the board of the CFO. The members with extensive experience in commerce, finance, auditing, and economic matters, and corporation management. Previously, there was one representative from each province. The initial bill did away with all the provincial representations, but as you members will note that KwaZulu-Natal made a proposal that provinces must still find a way of being represented in the board, and this in the bill has now been incorporated. The proposal of KZN that provinces will find a way to be represented by 3 representatives. So provinces will have to be clustered into 3 so that they are now directly represented in the board. The minister, before appointing the board members, must allow for all interested parties to make nominations of fit and proper persons. This allows for greater transparency. Lack of leadership, management, and governance has been identified as a problem. In order to address this, the minister finds that a problem with the board which is hampering its effective functioning. The minister may dissolve the board in certain circumstances, e.g., if it's unable to perform its duties, if there's a breakdown in its relationship with the minister or between board members. But due processes must be followed, of course, when the board is dissolved. But the bill also, in clause 12, sets out how the CEO is appointed, and it then deals with the functions of the CFO. And clause 13 of the bill set out how the service will then be funded. It provides for service to be funded by money appropriated by national parliament. It must be funded by fees of service fees for services rendered. It can be funded or in the income for deposits and investment, grants, donations, and bequests and royalties. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Kika, on behalf of the DA, you've got 4 minutes.
May I begin, Madam Speaker? Madam Speaker, the NHLS performs a vital function in our country and is the largest diagnostic pathology services in South Africa and possibly one of the most sophisticated and significant pathology services on the continent. Part of the scope of what they do is that it provides testing for HIV and AIDS patients, tuberculosis diagnosis, and screening of cervical cancer, and they also provide training for the professionals that qualify in this field. The spirit and intervention of the amendment bill is to streamline the service of the NHLS and ensure that South Africans receive the best possible care through the agency of this laboratory service. The NHLS, we would advise, should not seek to monopolize the laboratory space at the exclusion of private providers, and this assurance has been given through the engagement process. And they do, in fact, engage with the private sector where possible for services that they do not provide. What is very concerning, Madam Speaker, is that the tussle between KZN Health and the NHLS is ongoing. The battle has been going on not only now during this term of this legislature, but even from prior to that. And there seems to be no end in sight despite the assurances of the MEC over a period of time. In fact, Madam Speaker, allow me to table some figures that show how carelessly this matter has been presided over. The KZN Department of Health owes the NHLS almost 3 billion rands. This has gone up incrementally from 2016 and 17 from 2.47 billion rands to the point that it has reached, which is by far the highest owed to the service in the country. Madam Speaker and honorable members, we must note very carefully that amongst the many crises that have been created in this department, this debt to the NHLS has plunged the service into dire straits nationally. And I'll repeat that. It has plunged the service into dire straits nationally. Our counterparts in the National Portfolio Committee of Health and in other structures have acknowledged this, and that they say to us that it is no longer tenable that this situation from KwaZulu-Natal continues to bring this service to its knees. What is even worse, Madam Speaker, is that the debt is more than half of what is owed by all other provinces combined. That is the debt of KwaZulu-Natal to the NHLS. And it is worrisome, and we find that the Premier might be continuously embarrassed by what is going on in the Department of Health, even with such matters as dealing with the NHLS. For far too long, like many of the other health matters, and especially matters that are raised at SCOPA incessantly, we increasingly hear of excuses of how the NHLS bill will be dealt with. But clearly, excuses such as blaming the universal test and treat and other things is not going to work and is not going to carry any weight. Measures put in place, such as those to block tests and various other matters that we hear about in the Health Portfolio Committee, are not yielding sufficient results, and that is going to continue to cause problems for this service on an ongoing basis. Whilst the Democratic Alliance has indicated its support for the bill, we have recommended a few amendments, and we are grateful to the Honourable Chairperson of the committee that he has agreed to consider these and escalate them. Madam Speaker, we caution this House, and in particular the governing party, that if we do not rectify this, even problems such as those that are arising out of the NHLS, that the service will be brought to its knees over a period of time, much like what is happening in healthcare in KwaZulu-Natal under the leadership, or the lack thereof, I should say, of the Provincial MEC for Health, Dr. MEC Lomo. And we believe that the collapse of healthcare services in KwaZulu-Natal must not be dealt with by providing excuses, and that if you continue to do that, then we advise you that voters will punish you at the ballot box next year.
Time
So,
have
thank
expired.
you very much.
The next is Honorable Zondi on behalf of the ANC for 4 minutes.
Thank you, Samlomo. NHLS was there iminyaka kusuka leko 1912, but yayilungiselwe nje abathile, but ngo 2001 ma uhulumeni omsha wahlala phansi waphasisa umthetho eParliament nezinhlangano South African Institute for Medical Research, yes. Kwaba nomthetho othi le service ayiwa kuwo wonke umuntu. Siyazi ukuthi noma yayikhona kodwa yayingekho kakhulukazi kohulumeni bezabelo, futhi nalapha ngaphandle koKwaZulu-Natal yayikhona kuyiNatal ilungiselelwe nje abantu abathile. Okuthe masithatha njengokhongolo saphasisa lomthetho ngo-2001 owawuthi ayisabalale igcwale wonke ama-province and ama-district kuya kuma-local. Njengamanje sikhuluma nje lapha KwaZulu-Natal uya kunoma yiphi i-district uthola lama laboratory akhona ayasevisa, kusho ukuthi nomuntu olapha phansi kakhulukazi thina esasishiwe ngaphandle, thina abantu abamnyama nabasendaweni zasemakhaya, njengamanje le service bayayithola. Somlomo, ngiyafuna ukuqiniseka lokhu ukuthi Le bill ihambe kahle, yaba nama amendment, and yandlula kahle saphasisa as a committee. Kodwa kufuna sithi bear in mind ukuthi akuvelanga nje kwazenzakalela. I-ANC le elida izwe kufanele ngabe siyayibonga futhi siyayilekelela, asilibali lesigxeka izinto ngoba iyona eyenza ukuthi uma uya corner to corner of the provinces and corner to corner of South Africa uthola ukuthi lama laboratories akhona kakhulukazi nje njengase Empangeni lapha safika isibhedlela wawungazi ukuthi usesibhedlela saphesheya. Zonke izinto wathola ukuthi yonke into ikhona, khona ma oncologists, kukhona yonke into, and they make sure ukuthi abantu bathola iservice ngokulinganayo. Ngiyabonga Somlo.
Isikhulumi esilandelayo Honorable AJ Ngonyane on behalf of the IFP for 3 minutes.
Madam Speaker, the IFP notes the National Health Laboratory Service Amendment Bill, B15 to 2017. The NHLS is considered the backbone of the public health system as it provides vital tests used to diagnose all monitored diseases ranging from HIV to cervical cancer. It also offers some highly specialized tests that are not available in the private sector. The NHLS provides laboratory and related public health services to over 80% of the population through a national network of laboratories. The IFP notes the important clauses of the bill. 1, Clause 2, which seeks to amend Section 3 of the Preferential Procurement Policy Framework Act 200 to make the provision of the Act applicable to the service. Clause 4, which seeks the amendment Section 5 of the Act in order to make it clear that it is the duty of the service to promote the training of its staff members only. 3, Clause 5, which seeks to replace Section 7 to strengthen the governance of the NHLS and accountability. The National Health Laboratory Service Amendment Bill provides for additional protection measures and aims to ensure clean governance. There is no room for fraud and corruption in the NHLS, and the bill aims to ensure that the NHLS provides much needed assistance to the 80% people relying on accurate results for proper diagnosis and management of their illnesses. The adoption of this bill will enable the NHLS to provide diagnostic health laboratory services in a more cost-effective manner and with greater efficiency, thereby increasing the quality of clinical care provided to patients through timely and judicious clinical management. However, in all, the IFP supports the report and the bill. I thank you, Chairperson. Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Ulandelayo, Honorable Nahara on behalf of the ANC, 4 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair, to get this opportunity also following my many colleagues who have spoken here. Madam Chair, my colleagues have spoken at length about the amendment bill. But during our discussions, we have also looked into the challenges that the service might face. We have also realized that there will be challenges maybe of good governance and management that we foresee that might take place. But these challenges are addressed under Section 7. I think Section 7 clears the whole challenges quite clearly with the new board, the new provisions. But maybe just in short, Madam Chair, the services that are to be rendered to our people, well, among other issues in the management, we have that I can say, it will also need not only that there will be corruption, but the coordination of the services, of the use of the labs will be very important. Talking about this, I'm saying this with experience of the present. My sister is in hospital as I speak. But the issue of how the labs are used, one doctor to another, how the doctors themselves use the provision of the labs, how these things then help, it leaves a lot to be desired. This, amongst the management of the labs, will be important that there be coordination between hospitals, referrals, doctor to doctor. It will be important that these are taken note of and it is properly managed for better use and for cost-effective also. But as this government, I think the ANC has that in mind. As the leading party and the governing party, we have noted that where these functions should be placed and why they should be used and how our people or staff members and the interrelation between private sectors and other stakeholders should be conducted in such a way that all our people benefit equally from these services under the NHLS should be done. Madam Chair, we support this bill and I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member Nahara. The next to speak is Honorable V.R. Mulocho on behalf of the, we have changed now. I didn't get the report that you have changed. Instead of Mulocho, then it's going to be Mlaba for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Greetings to all honorable members. As the National Freedom Party, we want to put it on record that we have emphasized this many times that the presentation from the NSOP always come late to us. It has been a serious concern. However, the NFP will come and support this bill. We agree with the substitution of Section 7 and 8, noting that provincial representation was not catered for. However, in terms of the proposed new section, which would regulate the terms and the composition of the board, then we wish to voice our concern that we are very happy with the amendment, obviously. We note that the version B15 of 2017 has been amended to include 3 representatives from the provincial department, which we also welcome with ease. We want to place it on record that all the amendments that have been done here have been very accurate in terms of what we want today. The proposed amendment that each province has been represented on the NHLS board is welcomed. The NFP and stakeholders, community, and the provincial members of the province of KwaZulu-Natal all agreed and support the bill with the proposed amendment. I thank you.
Siyabonga. The next one, Honorable V. Ndlovu of the EFF, Umzuzu Ward. Enjoy it.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The EFF notes the contents of the bill and therefore has no objection on it. Previously, on the other amendments, we noted the fact that the NHLS had to provide quality, affordable, and sustainable health laboratory and related public health services. Equally, it must offer high-quality training and proper research structures. There is a need to provide proper leadership, management, and good governance. The funding of this initiative must also be clear, and all the initiatives that seek to improve service delivery will be welcomed and supported by the EFF. Under the apartheid government, these services never existed in former homeland areas, and it has been a big step to achieve this currently. Government must ensure it is cost-effective and efficient. Therefore, the EFF supports the bill as it is. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next one is Honorable S. Takurat Panchi on behalf of the MF for 1 minute.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, the Minority Front supports the amendments to this bill, which aims to promote better health and safety for our patients. Honourable Speaker, the Minority Front also supports demographic representation to the board. These members need to take their role seriously. When the bill is implemented, it will improve efficiency for patient treatment in many areas that have been lagging and causing the department litigation. As per clause 4 of the bill, training must be budgeted for because this would, of course, allow for discipline and efficient administration in the NHLS, which had many of these problems. But the budgets and the grants must be utilized in a systematic way, and the supply chain management is key to this, to provide the best services for our patients, because diagnostics is very cost exorbitant. The Minority Front supports the NHLS Amendment Bill, since implementation will strengthen clinical governance. Thank you.
The next is Honorable LXH Longwa Madlala for 6 minutes on behalf of the ANC.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We are so privileged to participate in this debate. Honorable Speaker, I just want to clear a few things that were raised by the Honorable Kika as a member of the Health Portfolio Committee at the beginning. It is a known common fact that KZN province did not join the NHLS because it was not getting value for its money. In addition, NHLS was using KZN hospital spaces without paying. And that is what started to cause the debt that Honorable Kika is talking about. But we are so glad, Honorable Speaker, to report in this House that the base fee was paid by the provincial legislature. KZN did a reconciliation of NHLS and found many tests duplicated based on items. KZN was also in constant negotiation with the National Department of Health and also with Treasury. But there is a historic debt which Provincial Treasury and the National are working on it, and members of the Provincial Health Portfolio Committee can attest to that. We support this as the ANC because it was started by Dr. Kwazulu-Natal Zuma. The background states that the NHLS was not there at the beginning. It was just the SIMIR, which was meant to service only the minority at the expense of the majority. The endeavors of this amendment bill are meant to align the ideals of the Freedom Charter and the vision of the African National Congress, and that is why we are supporting it. Honorable Speaker, this 100th year centenary commemoration of Mama Nontsikelelo Sisulu coincides very well with what we are doing here today as the members of the legislature. And it is during the tenure of Dr. Nkosazana Zuma that we saw the revolutionization, transformation, and the streamlining of the services of the NHLS so that they benefit the greater community and the public at large. Honorable Kika is right to raise his concerns. Honorable Nkwanyana is also right to raise their concerns. We want to say, as the African National Congress, we hear you and we understand that you are also working towards the betterment of our society. But the ANC is leading, and the ANC will always have the result, will also always have the solutions to the problems that we have raised in this meeting. It is rather not correct, Honorable Speaker, for Honorable Kika to say the bulk of the challenges we see in the Department of Health are as a result of the debt that comes through the NHLS operations. It is a common cause known to this House that amongst those challenges, it is what we have talked about, the monitoring and evaluation of the services. But number 2, it is the record system in our health institutions. Number 3, the doctors and other healthcare professionals do not necessarily go down into assessments and investigations, but they do blood tests over and over again, and that plunges the whole system into a mess. This amendment bill, Speaker, is aimed at further improving the efficiency and cost effectiveness of the NHLS bill. We applaud the bill as the ANC. These proposals on the alignment of procurement are welcome, and as the ANC, we also want to applaud Minister Mtswaleti for trying to strengthen the governance, the leadership, and the management of the laboratory services. These are all forward-looking interventions by the ANC to bring about good corporate governance, accountability, and quality healthcare services for all. We as the ANC are supporting this amendment bill because they are going to bring about close monitoring, efficiency in service delivery. The ANC supports the bill, Honorable Speaker.
Siyabonga mhlonishwa. To conclude on the debate, Honorable Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, Honorable Vice Pamji, you've got 6 minutes to do so.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Firstly, I must thank all the members for participating in the debate. I think, although some criticisms were leveled, it was unanimously agreed to support the input by the chairperson as a reflection of agreement by the Portfolio Committee to support the NLHS. Honorable Speaker, we also recognize the fact that Honorable Kika raised some important issues. However, it is a disputed amount and is subject to negotiation, and it is an historical debt. So we do recognize that, and it is also on the agenda. I wish to thank all the members, right? The Honorable Sanchika, the Honorable Nahara, the Honorable Sondi, the Honorable Mlaba, Honorable Ndlovu, and Honorable Rajbansi, and Honorable Kika, and Honorable Mkanyene, in the main, for beginning to appreciate that this bill is of a historical significance. Pre-1912, the degree of colonialism also reflected itself in the practice of medicine. The historical disadvantaged communities were denied professional services, and it was in 1994, with the ascendancy of the African National Congress, that there were huge significant changes made in the laboratory services. Of course, there were challenges because there were power games being played and there was a delay. But given the fact that there was a delay, and given the fact that now we have amendments to the bill, it clearly is a lesson for us all to appreciate the fact that no bill or no act is carved in stone. It is not rigid. When you put things in practice in terms of the relationship between theory and practice, you begin to learn whether it is actually servicing the intent of the enabling bill. It was then established through practice that no, it required amendments. So in that context, we welcome the members of parliament and members of the legislatures for being very, very vigilant and tabling their concerns and their amendments. It briefly tells us that we need to be vigilant to ensure that there is proper monitoring of funding, to make sure that the laboratory services are run professionally, and it also tells us that we need to be prudent as far as the finances are concerned. Money is scarce, and therefore we need to make sure that the action we take and put in place are cost-effective. I think, again, that it is a far-reaching amendment process. We welcome it, and by no means do we say that the end is that the bill and the act that will be enacted is an end in itself. Through practice, again, people will find that there are challenges that are still not being addressed, and further amendments are bound to come, because the practice of medicine and laboratory services is something that becomes the heartthrob of providing quality service and healthcare to our people. With those few words, Honorable Speaker, I thank all speakers again for ensuring that this bill is supported and that we need to be very, very vigilant, and we will ensure that the KwaZulu-Natal representation plays a dominant role in terms of cluster representation to champion the way forward. With those for you, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member, for concluding on that debate. Thank you, Honorable Members. We have now come to the end of the debate on the National Health Laboratory Service Amendment Bill, B15D 2017. The House now needs to confer a final and a voting mandate on the bill as requested by the Health Portfolio Committee. The Kwazulu-Natal Legislature agrees to confer authority on 1, the KZN provincial delegation to NCOP to cast a vote in favor or against the National Health Laboratory Service Amendment Bill, B15D 2017, at the relevant NCOP and Select Committee, and the head of the provincial delegation to the NCOP or a delegate designated by the head of the delegation to cast a vote in favor or against the National Health Laboratory Services Amendment Bill, B15D 2017, at the NCOP plenary. I now put the question. Those who are in favor of the bill, say aye. Those against, say no. The ayes have it. We're then now going to sign and send the mandate to NCOP. We then proceed with the next debate, vote, and voting on the final mandate on the Administrative Adjudication of Road Traffic Offences Amendment Bill, B38D of 2015. And according to the list before me, the first to table a report on the behalf of the Portfolio Committee will be Honorable Luditi, who's standing on behalf of the Chairperson of Transport, Honorable Speedler Sapeta, who is not well. We then have 5 minutes for you, Honorable Luditi, to table the committee report.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Speaker, in terms of Section 42(4) of the Constitution, the National Council of Provinces represents provinces to ensure that the provincial interests are taken into account in the national sphere of government by participating in the national legislative process. Consultation processes. On the 16th of February 2018, the Transport Portfolio Committee had a briefing from the National Department of Transport in terms of Rule 242(1) of the standing rules. The committee resolved to convene the Transport Portfolio Committee workshop on the 6th and 7th of March 2018 due to the nature of the bill. On the 23rd of March 2018, the committee convened another special meeting which resolved to hold 5 public hearings in the following districts: Amajuba, Ugu, Mkhanyakude, eThekwini and Umgungundlovu. The public hearings were advertised on the following newspapers: Isolezwe, Ilanga, the Mercury, the Natal Witness, South Coast Herald, Ayetu, the Observer Thursday, and Monday Observer. Stakeholders present at the public hearings asked questions of clarity and concerns were addressed during the public hearings. During the public hearings, a call for written submission was made to those who attended to submit their written submissions to the KZN Legislature before the 26th of April 2018, written submissions on the amendment bill were received by the committee by the 26th of April 2018. Having considered support of the ARTO bill by the stakeholders and communities, the committee met Tuesday, the 7th of August 2018 and agreed to support the bill with proposed amendment. The negotiating mandate supported the bill with proposed amendments. The Select Committee on Economic Business Development met on the 14th and 21st of August to consider the provincial negotiating mandate on the ARTO bill. It noted the proposed amendments by all the provinces and agreed to incorporate some in the bill. The Select Committee then supported the amendment ARTO bill on the 9th of October. The Transport Committee meeting convened a meeting to review the Select minutes of ARTO. The committee noticed that the KZN negotiating mandate is recorded in the minutes. Notice that the case is recorded in the minutes of the 21st of August that the province supported the ARTO bill without amendments, whereas the amendments were outlined in the attached bill report. The chairperson of the portfolio committee requested that the error be corrected. We stand advised that the Select Committee has agreed that the minutes be amended to reflect that KZN support the bill with amendments. The amended minutes will be circulated accordingly. The majority of the members of the portfolio committee resolved to support the bill. The member of the DA submitted a report and not supporting the bill. The member of the IFP did not support the bill. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, the committee recommends that the legislature must confer authority on 1, the KZN provincial delegation, to the NCOP to cast a vote in favor of the administrative adjudication of the transport of the road traffic offences amendment bill. 2, the head of the provincial delegation to the NCOP or delegation designated by the head of the delegation to cast vote in favor of the ARTO bill. I thank you, Speaker.
Honorable Ntombela, you've got 9 minutes on behalf of the ANC.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me join the acting chairperson on behalf of the chairperson in her absentia in welcoming the report as presented, and to state categorically that as the ANC, we indeed in support of the amendment in the bill as it's moved forward. The ARTO bill, Madam Speaker, is a Section 76 bill in terms of the Constitution, which requires concurrence with different provinces and public consultation processes to get ordinary citizens' views and opinions of affected stakeholders and organizations. We had a briefing as reported outlined on the 16th of February 2018 with the National Department of Transport. During March, we convened a workshop as a portfolio committee and a meeting furthermore to deliberate on the bill and plan for public hearings, 5 of which were held across the province. But we think, Madam Chair, we need to enlighten other members on what that the bill entail in summary of some of the issues. The Act seeks to promote road traffic quality by providing for a scheme that discourages road traffic contraventions and facilitates the efficient adjudication of road traffic infringements. The Act seeks to amend the Act as it stands now in order to achieve efficiency and financial sustainability of issuing authorities, as well as the Road Traffic Infringement Agency, which the bill seeks to rename to the Road Traffic Infringement Authority. The objective of the Act, amongst others, aims to encourage compliance with the national and provincial laws relating to road traffic and to promote road traffic safety. to establish a procedure for the effective and expeditious adjudication of infringements, to alleviate the burden on the courts of trying offenders for infringements, to penalize drivers and operators who are guilty of infringements or offenses through the imposition of demerit points, leading to the suspension and cancellation of driving licenses, professional driving permits, or operator card. To also reward law-abiding behavior by reducing demerit point imposed if infringements or offenses are not committed over a specified period. So inhloso yalomthetho akona nje kuphela ukushushisa abantu kodwa ukugcina ukugqugquzela ukuthi abantu abayiphathe kahle bakwazi nokusebenza ngendlela efanelekileyo mabesesimeni sokuqhuba emgaqweni ngendlela efanelekile. It also aims to establish an agent to support the law enforcement and judicial authorities and to undertake the administrative adjudication process, to strengthen cooperation between the prosecuting and law enforcement authorities by establishing a board to govern this agency. Objects of the acts of the agency are to administer a procedure to discourage the contravention of road traffic laws and to support the adjudication of infringements as set out in subsection 2 of the bill, to enforce penalties imposed against persons contravening road traffic laws as set out in subsection 3, to provide specialized prosecution support services as set out in subsection 4, and to undertake community education and community awareness programs in order to ensure that individuals understand their rights and options as set out in subsection 5. These are the things, Madam Chair, we observed when we were in a study tour in Ghana and Ireland, that part of the ways they are using to create awareness and minimizing road fatalities is through effective education at a lower level, educating people, making them aware of what is expected of them when they are on the road, rather than just without having a concise and a concerted effort of educating the commuters, pedestrians, and the drivers. Our road death toll for 2017 were characterized as one of the worst in years, despite safety campaigns to end the carnage. Almost 135,000 people have died in road crashes in South Africa over the past decade, equivalent to almost wiping out the entire population of Mid-Valley Municipality in Gauteng, according to Automobile Association AA. According to the statistics as outlined by the department itself, more than 14,050 people died in the road crashes in South Africa in 2017. The death toll was marginally lower than 14,071 people who died in road crashes in 2016, but still higher than any year from 2008 to 2015. Lokhu kuyasitshela ukuthi obekuningi besikwenza kubangana lemphumela besiyilindele. So siyacanga lo mthetho sivivinywa ochibiyela uma uphasiswa uzolekelela kakhulu ekwehliseni izinga nenani labantu bakithi abalimala baswele imphefumulo yabo budedengu ngenxa yengozi ezenzakalayo emgaqweni. Preliminary Easter weekend road fatality statistics released by Transport Minister Honorable Blade Nzimande are 14% up over the same period last year. That is 2016, we are 2017. Seen against the backdrop of the fatality statistics of the past 10 years from 2008, these numbers prove that current road safety initiatives are simply not working. This is a shocking number in comparison to other countries within the continent and the world as a whole. Without urgent intervention like the ARTO bill we are debating today, we believe that things will not change. In fact, they will get worse. Without genuine commitment from all role players and a complete change in attitude of law enforcement agencies, road users, and authorities, things will not change. Yingakho-ke susupporta lo mthethosivivinywa osichibiyelo to start a new paradigm shift, a sense of responsibility to road users and all others involved. As the ANC, we support the bill. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Asibonge Mhlonishwa, Honorable Shah, on behalf of the DA, unemizuzu 4.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As well intended as the bill may seem, we support the intent, but we believe that R2 Amendment Bill in its current form, if and when implemented, is bound to have unintended consequences. The bill was piloted, implemented as a pilot project in Tshwane and Johannesburg. But several challenges and deficiencies were identified during that pilot phase. We have not been briefed about what corrective measures were made to mitigate against the risks identified then. Moreover, many sections of intent incorporated in the bill were not part of the pilot project. Hence, the total scope of the bill has not been tested and verified during the pilot phase, which renders it open to risks if and when implemented. The pilot project did not include, Madam Speaker, the most important component of ARTO, namely the demerit point system. It remains unclear as to how much of, moreover, it remains unclear as to how much of the e-Natus design is fully functional and whether it is appropriately aligned to the administrative requirements envisaged in the current bill. We also don't know what are the financial implications for municipalities, what impact this would have on the revenue streams. We have not seen any report from Salga or Kokta which could convince us that local authorities are equipped and ready to execute the desired rollout of relevant functions envisaged in this bill. There are a lot of constitutional implications. I can't go through all of them for time, due to time constraints, but just to highlight just one section, 22 of the bill contains the provisions relating to an enforcement order. In terms of the bill, an enforcement order would be served on an accused when he or she fails to comply with a notification, a courtesy letter, or has failed to respond to a courtesy letter or failed to appear before a court. Now, the problem we have with that is that the adversarial system which underpins South Africa's civil and criminal justice system demands that the onus to prove an allegation rests with the accuser. There is no burden placed upon the accused to prove his or her innocence. So put plainly, the enforcement order as currently envisioned by Section 20 confirms that the accused person is indeed guilty of the alleged infringement, and this without having gone through a trial in court. So such a person is now forced to pay a fine, and relevant appropriate demerits points are then issued against this person's driver's license. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, a number of provisions contained in the bill will not survive judicial scrutiny, as they either do not meet the standards of justice and fairness in some cases, or even directly conflicts with Section 34 and 35 of the Constitution of the Republic. Furthermore, the bill adds a whole new layer of administration that would be too cumbersome and in all likelihood unable to serve the cause of justice. It is for these reasons that, and more, that the DA will not be able to support the R2 amendment bill. And what's the use, creating policy and laws and regulations when we will not be able to implement them efficiently? So the intent of the bill is good. However, it is flawed in many ways. Thank you.
Honorable S. Mootley, you've got 3 minutes on behalf of the IFP.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The IFP supports any initiative aimed at making our roads safe in order to reduce road carnages on our roads. We fully agree with government that more definitive measures need to be implemented, more severe repercussions are needed to deal with reckless behavior. The IFP has serious questions about the practicality of SMSs as a means of communication, as infringement notices are longer than the allowed number of characters allowed in an SMS. The IFP argues that if notices are sent through SMSs and mail, how proof that the person is concerned ever received a notice? Furthermore, the IFP argues that in South Africa there are 11 official languages. And how about the use of these languages in the issuing of notices in order to accommodate all people, including those who do not understand English? We are of the view that municipalities will find it too costly to implement the bill. The IFP also argues that rural communities must be educated about the ARTO bill works. As the IFP, we believe that the ARTO bill is unconstitutional. It has so far been piloted quite problematically in the Shwana and Johannesburg metropolitan municipalities in 2008. We share a similar sentiment raised by various organizations, such as the Justice Project South Africa and the organization Undoing Tax. Abuse outer that ARTO promotes grossly unjust measures to extract revenues. The IFP rejects the ARTO bill. I thank you.
Thank you. The next to speak is Honorable S. James Dagan on behalf of the NFP. Her name is Zembili.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, all guests, the National Freedom Party welcomes and supports the final mandate of administration adjudication of road traffic offences amendment bill, which aims to substitute and insert certain definitions to improve the manner of serving documents to infringers, to add to the functions of the Road Traffic Infringement Authority, to repeal certain absolute provisions, to establish and administer rehabilitation programs, to provide for the appointment of penalties, to provide for the establishment of the appeals tribunal and matters related thereto, to effect textual corrections, and to provide for matters connected therewith. NSP stakeholders and communities in the province of KwaZulu-Natal agreed to support the bill with the proposed amendments. However, to impose demerit points that could lead to suspension and possible cancellation of an offering driver's license is a serious matter which must be addressed going forward. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Ndlovu, on behalf of the EFF.
Thanks, Madam Speaker. The EFF notes the purpose of ARTO Act, which is to migrate the prosecution of road traffic offences for which an admission of guilt fine may be paid from the Criminal Procedure Act and the judicial authority of the courts to an administrative process-driven scheme orchestrated by a far from independent state-owned enterprise, which is funded almost entirely by traffic fines and fees raised on them. It is also noted by the EFF that there will no longer be distinction between the minor infringement and major infringement, which is a concern to us. Again, it is noted that the alleged infringement will no longer be allowed to elect to be tried in court unless all appeal has been followed. We support the initiative to keep our roads safe as the EFF. Wehlisama point also could be another initiative that is supported, and we just note this amendment bill. Thank you.
The next one, Honorable Esther Kurachpansi, on behalf of MF, 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Minority Front agrees that the amendments to this bill are to promote road traffic quality and safety. However, Honourable Speaker, a major concern is that the road rule transgressors for traffic fines, for driving licenses, permits, etc., according to this bill, if they are issued with an infringement, which therefore thereafter would warrant an arrest, but if they don't comply, how will we deal with these people who don't even acknowledge an infringement? They don't even accept speeding fines when it's delivered to their homes. So therefore, a courtesy letter will not suffice. The public needs to be made much more aware of the amendments to this bill so that they understand the consequences of a failure to comply. But for these, the department, of course, needs to do much more stringent things and measures such as withholding the renewal of licenses if you have outstanding fines that are not paid will suffice. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The next, Honorable S.A. Duma, on behalf of the NC.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, for affording us this opportunity. Indeed, this is a very technical orientation of this act should be understood correctly. I think we all agree, even in this decorum of the House, must also acknowledge the road carnages are a serious problem to South Africa. In a range of 3,000 on a yearly basis, that's how much value, that's what the issue of recklessness on the road constitutes to our systems. As we speak currently, it's a general feeling of the phenomenon in the society that the prices of petrol are damaging the lifespan of South Africa in terms of those who can afford, those who can have access to employment and all those things. So we are saying that almost every bill, all the acts that will deal with addressing these imbalances should be accepted. I don't understand why members are just saying in a blanket approach it's a bad act. It is an amendment of 1998 which was promulgated at that particular time to address in the main with the issue of reckless driving, in the main with of ensuring that we decrease the road carnages, the fatalities on our road. Honorable Shah must listen to this component because he's citing that Section 34 and 35 of the Act will be compromised. And the question is how? Because Section 34 deals with the access to courts, and we are deliberating saying that this is not going to be a court matter. A tribunal authority will deal with all these issues as to ascertain, because we are not even going to get a criminal record. We are going to be demerited instead. How many orphanage has been done in South Africa as a result of reckless driving, as a result of drunken driving? All those issues should be addressed. We must also mention, Honorable Speaker, that in the main, the Act is trying to improve the manner of serving documents to infringe and to add the Road Traffic Infringement Authority and give the power. We are just addressing some of the few issues. Are we saying that the habitual infringers must just proceed and continue? They are creating orphanage in our road because they know that you only go to get a ticket and nothing is going to happen. So the Act is going to address all those issues as well. The Act is also addressing, Honorable Speaker, the issue of training and refresher courses, even of those drivers who drive the public transport like taxis, the buses and all those things, because you do realize that they sometimes need the refresher course. They spend most of the time on the road, the drivers of trucks, so they must be assisted. The Act is stipulating that it is going to address all those issues. Honorable Shah is also worried about the role of authorities locally, which is critical, that they must be refurbished, they must be equipped, they must be developed at that level. Currently, we do have RTI. The INATIS system is working properly. In fact, where the financial stream and revenue collected, it is collected at that level. Go to Department of Transport Department this today and check how many revenue do they collect out of that. They do, and it is distributed equally to other departments for them to survive and all those things. So it is true that there was a pilot that was conducted in Tshwane and Johannesburg, and we are also worried on the detailed analysis and the synopsis of what transpired. Why are they saying that there are discrepancies? But the act is clinical. If it can be implemented correctly, because in the main, a lot of people are worried about the act. They are not even aware that it is going to deal with the issue of attitude. It is dealing with the issue of behavioral pattern of drivers on the road, because you just find that almost on a yearly basis, we lose life as a result of attitude, as a result of behavior, not as a result of something else, because some of the accident could have been avoided if we have dealt with all these issues. I must also mention, Honorable Speaker, that the introduction of infringement appeals tribunal is an added protection for infringers. It frees the court to deal with more serious crime, as Honorable Shah was worried that the courts and all those things. No, the court is not going to deal, because there's going to be an appeals tribunal. It allows infringers to challenge the RTI and any issuing authority for their decisions. It further ensures that no one and no entity becomes a referee and a player simultaneously. So this tribunal body will only deal with these matters and ensure that there is a fast tracking, no bureaucratization, which is going to compromise the process. So this is the process. Demerit points becomes the great equalizer between the rich and the poor. We must also highlight that point, Honorable Speaker. They become an easy and objective mechanism of identifying non-compliant behavior to rectify the issues. Decriminalizes traffic infringements. No one will get a criminal record for infringement. For the record, we must state this on Hansard so that members are not skeptical. They must understand the true reflection of Arto Bill, not what Honorable Shah was giving to members or the public at large. So it is a matter of distorting the information. You won't lose your possession, warrant of execution repealed. So I think it must be stipulated that as much as we are also saying that as the ANC we support this bill, there are some issues of proper implementation and the issue of capacity within the spectrum of the department. If the tribunal is not well equipped, it is not going to implement all these nice issues or all these nice perks that we are referring to. So the departments must ensure that they should start now, so that when the act is promulgated, they are clear that there's not going to be a shortage, so that we don't suffer. I just hope and pray that honorable members' behavioral pattern and attitude will change, because you do find members who are drinking and driving. You do find members who are speeding on the road. That thing should be addressed. So I'm looking at this direction because I know who consume a lot of alcohol. I know the VPS. So those who have access to money, I'm just warning them that let us make sure that we drive, we safeguard the lives on the road. But on a serious note, Honorable Speaker, the issue of demerit must just be clarified to members. There is a point, or there are points that you have as a license holder. On a yearly basis, it's going to be evaluated. It does not accumulate. Like, for instance, if Honorable Maro Kumbi gets or is deducted almost 5 points, it does not accumulate to a following year. You start afresh each year. So that is why I'm saying that these are corrective measures, not a matter of punishing the road users or the license holders. But it does not warrant you that you must always, like for instance, I know an issue yama insurances. Kunabantu thola ukuthi ama insurance se reach limit besizophela unyaka sebelindile ukuze kuphela unyaka. Nakhona akufunakala umuntu one azi ukuthi sezolinda kuze kuqala unyaka ulandela kuze aphinde aqhubeke on. You must correct yourself and ensure that you do assist the process. Honorable Speaker, kufanele siyicacise nalo daba lokuthi lo mtheshwana ukungawulethi KwaZulu-Natal nokungawutheste Eastern Cape uteste Gauteng province kuyasixhalabisa kancane, kuyasikhalisa ngokuthi ivele traffic flow eSouth Africa in the main yaziwa ama accidents enzeke eGauteng, enzeke KwaZulu-Natal enzeke eWestern Cape nase-Eastern Cape, in particular ngama-festive nangama-holidays athile. So we thought it was going to be strategic that the pilot was going to happen around these 4 major provinces, so that even when you come across with problems, you are able to extract problems, then you address them. So kuye KwaZulu-Natal, although kufanele siyincome Department of Transport KwaZulu-Natal ukuthi ama-road fatalities kulo nyaka wezimali esikuwona ehlile, kodwa ke still siyaqhubeka ukuthi cha umphefumulo owodwa kwawona usuke sozoba nenkinga. 7 billion people in the world, growing at an average of 75 million per annum. Road traffic crashes kill more than 1.3 million road users worldwide annually, so which is a worrying factor. In South Africa, we have 50 million suffer serious injuries on an annual basis across the world. Majority of victims are living in developing countries like South Africa. In our country, we have a population of 55 million, around 14,000 road users are killed annually, not the sum that I was referring to. Annual cost of crashes and fatalities to the economy, Honorable Shah, is 200 billion. We suffer 200 billion as a result of recklessness, as a result of these road fatalities. So any issue, any mechanism that try to harness the situation must be welcome. We must adopt it and say it is going to assist us. Most of the road traffic crashes are preceded by road traffic offences or infringements, e.g., I've already mentioned drunk driving, overspeeding, overtaking on dangerous spots, etc. So those are issues, Madam Speaker, that let us ensure as road users that let us be honest, let us address them. The bill is going to assist us. We thank you.
We are now come to the end of the debate. We request Honorable Z.M. to conclude for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Siyabonga kubo bonke akade be-debate, siyabonga nakubo abangavumelani nomthetho ngenxa yokuthi babalekela ukuziphatha kahle. Siyazi ukuthi lo mthetho ulwa nokuthi nje abantu bayiphathe kahle emgaqweni kunciphe izingozi. And siwenzile ama public hearings nako masipala, sabatshela omasipala ukuthi kuzoba nalo mthetho. Kuseleke yiko ukuthi umasipala benyuse i-capacity yabo, ngeke singashintshi izinto ngoba sithi abantu abanayo i-capacity. Kodwa ke udumo bese kubekile ukubeke kahle konke lokho bekukhala ilaba abangahambisani nomthetho. Kodwa nje lilonke umthetho uthi asiziphatheni kahle emgaqweni ukuze kunciphe izingozi lezi esesaziwa ngazo ezimbi. Unabo futhi ubuhle bokuthi ngeke sisaboshwa manje siyohlaliswa nama criminals, kuzokhulunywa indaba zakho neindaba zakho. Kodwa nje kuthiwa ziphathe kahle ngaso sonke isikhathi. Mama Speaker, sekusele kona nje ukuthi sisho ukuthi siyaya national si positive ngomthetho. Siyabonga.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. That concludes the debate. And we now come to the end of the debate on the administrative adjudication of road traffic offences amendment bill B38D 2015. The House now needs to confer a final and a voting mandate on the bill as per the request of the Transport Portfolio Committee. The Kwazulu-Natal Legislature agrees to confer authority on 1, the KZN provincial delegation to the NCOP to cast a vote in favor of the administrative adjudication of road traffic offences amendment bill B38D 2015 at the relevant NCOP Select Committee. And 2, the head of the provincial delegation to the NCOP or a delegate designated by the head of the delegation to cast a vote in favor of the administrative adjudication of road traffic offences amendment bill B38D 2015 at the NCOP plenary. Those in favor of the bill say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Order. Honorable Rocha, can I help you? Which rule are you standing on?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The DA would like its objection to the bill noted. Thank you.
The DA expressed the objection and it will be noted accordingly. However, the ayes have it. The House is not divided. Okay, we have now signed the final mandate on behalf of the committee. It can be sent to NCOP. We have done it. As this was a special sitting, the business of the day has been concluded. There is one announcement that I've just received. We hereby kindly request the Honorable Speaker to make the following announcement. Members of the Chairperson's Committee are requested to remain in the House after the sitting for a very short meeting. And that's the request that is requesting all Chairperson's Committee to remain, which then brings us to the end of the business of the day, which was a fairly short business, but a very important one. We welcome our learners there up there who have been watching us. And the next sitting, will be on the 26th, no, 25th, 26th. At the TLTP, yeah, the 26th will be the sitting. That then brings us to the end of House's agenda.
Sipho. What? Akekho uMamkhize, ubani osibizile?
This.
April Fool.
Khosi nomkhosi nizwile na indaba ye meeting ukuthi thiwasalela.
Ubani osibizile?
Who's calling us? You cannot have this meeting without the chair.
Oh, sorry.
What documents? Who's convening us?
Ngisacela ukuchaza emva kokuba u-acting chair ngisacela ukuchaza ukuba
Qala la kule acting chair.
Ngisacela ukuchaza emva kokuba u-acting chair sekhulumile. I-report le ndaba esiyixoxa la i-technical i-report ye-multi-party asikwazi ukuyidebate le ningazange ni-adopt. Ekuseni uma ngifika ngiyabuza ngiyabona bakucabasha akekho ngiyabona uMamBloss akekho, so it's not proper. Kuzovuka i-technicality yokuthi we can't have that report fanele senithumele leyo. Ngase ngithinte uzothembiso is off sick une-flu kabuhlungu kabi. Ngase ngithinte uZipho ngathi Zipho ngicela ukuthi makuphela i-sitting ucele i-members i-convene lezi ezikhona ngoba uyihlalo vele ngiyazi baningi bakhona, so that the report is adopted and we send it out, so that lesi ngesificane nenkinga ukuthi abantu bathi bayaphuma ngoba i-report ayizange izi-adopt. Ileso sicelo nje. Ilunch ikhona uma kuwukuthi mhlawumbe nama-members feel kufanele ayodla uZipho ngoba basaprinta nje ubu-acting chair kadesho singahamba siyodla bese sibuye siyabuya. Kubalulekile ngoba kuzosihlupha lela kiwa khona, and ama-arrangements have been done and yonke. Cha, ngiyabonga. Kungcono mhlawumbe nasithi 30 minutes. Ngicela abantu imember ingahambi ngiyacela abantu. Ngoba vele ngoba i-report must be no, it's fine. Ngicabanga ukuthi bazobe sebeqedile igebe. Ngicela cha.
10 minutes, okay.
Because it's not going to have an issue to adopt chairpersons when we were not part of the, or most of us were not part. No. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Sure, bye-bye.